welcome to the ALTbrown podcast, where we connect brown voices. This is Pady.
And this is Sharky.
All right, ready?
Great. Thanks so much, Dania, for joining us on our podcast. So you're also known as the Hijabi Hooligan, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So I came across your Facebook page. So Dania is a cosplayer, and so I rather you just discuss what you do, which is really awesome and super rad. So
thank you. Well, basically, I'm a cosplayer, but I put a bit of a twist on my costumes because obviously I wear a hijab because I'm a Muslim, and I like to integrate that into my cosplays.
Cool. So what have you cosplayed as, like a few things that you have already cosplayed?
The main ones I'm kind of known for, I do Captain America, I do Ezio from the Assassin's Creed games, I do Loki, and I've done sort of one or two other ones a couple of times as well, like Jack Frost and things.
Cool.
Oh, cool. Have you created your costumes yourselves, or
I do, yeah. I hand make them myself.
How long does it usually take you to do, on average, one costume?
Ooh, it usually depends. Depends on like the difficulty of the costume. So I think the shortest one I did it took maybe 2 or 3 days, and then the longest one took maybe like 3 or 4 months. So it really just depends.
Nice. I noticed that your Captain America cosplay has turned into a meme because
Right.
so there's a lot of controversy. We're in America, so like we're in the U.S., so it's a lot of like political drama that's happening right now. So anything with obviously a non-white person being Captain America would be completely controversial here.
Yeah, I think I think the controversy is even worse than the Hail Hydra moment earlier the year.
Fair enough.
So so what's your take on that? Which I'm just interested on your ideas.
I mean, personally, when I did this costume, it was never for a political reason. I just liked the costume and liked the character, and I wanted to do my own version of it. So the fact that it's been taken kind of that way is completely like strange to me. But I guess, I mean, most people seem to be okay with it. Most people seem to think that it's like me showing support for America and stuff. So I guess I'm okay with that. But obviously, there are going to be people out there that get offended, and I just, I never meant to cause offense. So I guess that's the only kind of bothering thing about it. But it's all right.
Do you get any backlash from UK people? It's like, hey, why are you dressing as Captain America here? This is England or something, or whatever.
No, surprisingly not. I think most people, because obviously there are a lot of other Brits that do Captain America, so no, I think they're all pretty cool with it.
So I was just curious, like, how long have you been cosplaying?
I've been cosplaying for about 3 to 4 years now. I think I started at the end of 2012, and I've been going since then.
So what got you into it?
I got into it through mutual friends who kind of knew other cosplayers and wanted to get into it themselves. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've been a fan of it for a long time. I just didn't know that it was something that was kind of a worldwide thing. I genuinely thought it was specific to America or sort of Japan and Asia and things.
Interesting. Yeah. I thought so I cosplay too, and I thought that was really interesting, but I don't do anything to the grand scale like how you do, because I don't really sew that well. So I just makeshift, like sometimes a little like hem here or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would be great to get like one of those 3D printer like pressing machines to make armor. Oh my God.
Definitely.
I think it's actually a kind of fertile ground for South Asians, since our moms always have like a sewing room or a sewing machine.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, my mom doesn't sew. My grandma does, but she arthritis. I don't want to bother her. But yeah, so I think it's interesting because like as brown folk, a lot of the characters that we play are white characters, quote unquote, and a lot of people have like this idea that we shouldn't be playing them because they're white and we're brown. And I never took it that way, because like I grew up heavily into comic books and graphic novels and like just that whole universe, and I thought that you just want to be what you like, whether it be Mystique or Wolverine or whatever, or Batman, whatever you like. And I don't think that it should be this idea of like looking at skin tone first, or hijab, or some pronounced idea that this is for other people is pronounced, but for us, we know we're brown. I mean, like, I don't think that we ever stop to say, well, oh yeah, I'm a brown kid, maybe I shouldn't be Rogue because she's supposed to be white. or you're not supposed to be Captain America because you're not even American, or you wear hijab. And I don't see what's the big deal. You know what I mean? I think if anything, exactly. It makes us seem like, because like, you know, people have this idea of brown kids being scary, or like, you know, we just have this negative stigmatism in the media. And I think that when kids like us who are more creative and do like things that are supposedly more Americanized or more, you know, Western, it's like, what? They've assimilated? And like the whole point of it, so there's this idea of, okay, if you're brown, you have to assimilate, right? So when you're brown and you do assimilate because you were born and raised here, it's not like you assimilated, but you were born here, right? They're like, oh, they're too Western now, so you don't fucking win. Like,
it's like, as a kind of a brown nerd, it's like you have to deal with that stigma that you know, if you're too nerdy, then you're too white,
right? Or if you speak a certain way, you've been completely whitewashed and you have no culture. And so you get that also from your family and also from the media. It's like, you can't fucking win, you know? So I guess like where I'm going with this is like, how does your family how's your family deal with your cosplay? Not that it's like as if it's an addiction or something. I'm just saying, like, you know how
I mean, technically it is an addiction, you know. After a while it seems like it. No, I'm actually quite lucky. My family's pretty cool with it.
Cool.
I think as long as I'm not kind of wasting all of my time with it, then they're pretty cool with it.
That's cool. I mean, like, I think it's really interesting because people don't realize how expensive cosplay is, and Definitely. It's just so fun to actually put things together in a way, like, because it's easy for me to do Harley Quinn because she pretty much wears a lot of red and black, so that's like really easy for me. And I feel like currently now with like, have you done a Miss Marvel cosplay yet?
Not yet. It's on the list.
So it's super easy now because we don't really have to do much. I mean, like, I did it on Comic-Con last year. Not last year, the year before. Was it? Yeah. I don't know. I got my years all messed up. Anyway, so one year I dressed up as Miss Marvel, right? And it was like the most easiest thing ever. I'm like, I don't have to do crap. I just need to brush my hair, like, pretty much as a jeans and skirt. And it was like the easiest thing. I'm like, oh my god, I don't have to wear a wig. I don't have to wear a certain type of makeup. She looks just like me. Like, I'm good.
That's awesome.
So I'm thinking, like, with the whole, like, there's a lot of brown characters in the like, you know, the nerd verse. Another two that I want to do, which if you're familiar with Steven Universe, Connie, the little Indian girl, that's Steven's best friend. And then when they you know, when they merge together, they make Stevani. So I think that's a really interesting cosplay too. And as brown girls, it's just so easy because, like, I have long dark hair, I'm a little dark skin, I could just wear, you know, pink glasses. All she wears is a little green dress with rain boots, and literally if I wear you know, a green dress with rain boots, I look just like Connie. Because she's dark skinned, long dark hair. So I thought that's really interesting. Like, now, I mean, what I think is really phenomenal is that, you know, when we were growing up, it wasn't that many you know, characters that look like us. And now with you know, the change in media and the change of artists, and a lot of brown people are actually you know, now in mainstream of, like, writing comic books and cartoons and you know, things in the nerd geek verse, right? And it's cool to see other representations of us. Even in, like, just regular TV shows like Mr. Robot, there's a hijabi girl, and it's like,
I was literally just watching that, actually.
Oh yeah, we're all about Mr. Robot on this podcast.
Yeah. So awesome. It's just so nice to see. And what I like is that they're nerdy and they're very, like, strong male characters, and it's like wonderful because it's like, we know that's what our culture is about, but you know, in the media it's perpetuated very differently. So it's actually, for me, I mean, like, how do you feel about this? Like, with the new regime, like, I feel so elated. I mean, yeah, it's a long time coming, but at least it happened, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, personally, I've always thought that, like being a nerd or being into certain things, it shouldn't be specific to one skin color or one race or whatever, you know? Like, anyone can be a nerd if they want to be. If you like comics or games or TV shows, you know, it's something that everyone should be entitled to, kind of thing. So I really like it as well. I'm glad that they're starting to kind of represent, like you said, you know, brown people, hijabis, whatever. I like that they're starting to put that in kind of mainstream media more. It gives, like, a good like twist, because obviously a lot of things that you see in like the news and stuff are quite negative about us, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I really like that they're starting to kind of integrate that more into like comics and TV shows and stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's just important for us to be represented in the media.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
You know, although that we're considered minorities, we're really not minorities. I mean, if you check statistics, Asians make up a lot of the world. So why wouldn't be, whether not only Asians, I'm talking about like all characters. Because also I've noticed in the cosplay, I guess like groupings now, like there's a lot of more Black people cosplaying as well, which I love to see.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and the thing is, like, even speaking with, because I'm a mixed kid, I'm Indian and Black. Like, I'm mixed of a lot of stuff, but predominantly Indian and Black. So it's like I draw more to, you know, when I see other people like me that look like me that are cosplaying too, that are also nerds. You're like, whoa, we're all nerds. This is awesome, you know, like, and really into anime and whatever they're into. But it's just so cool to see like other brown kids that are into it, and like currently right now in New York, there's one of the anime cons that are going on right now. So it's actually really cool to see on my feed, like a lot of my Black and Indian friends and like Hispanic friends that are going and not only going, but also cosplaying. And they have really cool outfits, like super cool outfits. And it's really nice to see, because when we were younger, you know, the only times when we really dress up would be like Halloween. Yeah. And, you know, and it was not that cosplay wasn't there. It was just the fact that seemed like it was more of like, I guess, like a white kid thing to do, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Not that we never coined. It's not that something that we didn't draw to or something like that. I guess like when you're little, you can't make your own costume. So what are you going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a really funny thing. Like my cousins and I, even as young children, we used to wear like our Ninja Turtles costumes around the house all the time. Aww. And like all sorts of costumes. So it's like, you know, in brown families, we are blended, and we grow up with our cousins and our you know, our uncles' kids, you know, like all sorts. Like we just have lots of cousins and relatives that grow up with you that are pretty much your siblings. Like you wouldn't consider them your cousin. You really consider them brother and sister. Yeah. So like I'm just explaining for our audience, right? So in like we'd all dress up together and we would play together and we'd be Power Rangers and we'd have that costumes, or we'd wear like a pink shirt, like whatever we did, and like use our imagination to kind of, you know, make it work. Yeah. I think. And then when you talk to people, it's like, no, you cosplayed since you were a kid. And you're just like, but is that really considered? And they're like, yeah, why wouldn't you not consider that? Like, that's just imaginative play. Like, that's what really cosplay is. And it's kind of funny. And like, I think it's so awesome that, you know, I never thought of it like that. I just thought it was just like us being kids and playing. And then like when I got older, I'm like, we still do this. Like it's not like something you get beaten out of you, you know, because of adulthood. You can just take an adult spin on it. So yeah. So like, do you go to cons a lot and stuff?
I'm trying to. I mean, when I first started out, I only used to go to like 2 events a year. But since then, I'm not sure if I should be proud of this or slightly ashamed, but I have been to a lot more events.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I've actually got a pretty big one coming up next week that I'm
Good
a bit
luck.
nervous about. Thank you.
Oh, cool! Can you tell us what like outfit you're wearing, or no? You don't.
I'm doing. Oh no, it's cool. I'm doing female Ezio again. It's one of my favorites and one of my most recent ones that I haven't really got to wear out a lot. So I thought I'd do that one.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I hope you win and get cash. So a lot of people don't realize, like, when you enter contests and stuff, you can win pretty swanky prizes.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, including monetary prizes. And I think it also washes off, too, because there's a couple people that, you know, like serious cosplayers that, you know, will make their costumes, like, it'll take them a year to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and this is their full-time job, and they make their living on making costumes and stitching and doing lots of stuff, right? And so it washes off that year. Like, so it pretty much pays off for, like, that's your job. Like, you become a full-time cosplayer. Yeah. And I think that's really good, too. I think that also in the cosplay community, it gives people the ability to be creative. And with online, you know, outlets like Etsy and eBay and stuff like that, where you can sell like parts for costumes and things like that for other people, it's just really good, and it helps out everybody in the whole process. Mm-hmm. Are you so as a cosplayer? Are you averse to buying pieces from other cosplayers?
I mean, I wouldn't be like against it, I guess, if I needed a piece that I knew someone else could do better for me. But I mean, I'm a student at the minute, so I cosplay on a really tight budget. So I guess that's why I prefer to make everything myself. I mean, no, not at all. I think if you're giving someone else the chance to make something for you, then you're also helping them, because obviously, like you said, a lot of people kind of make businesses out of it, and they do like professional like stitching or prop making or whatever. And I think it's really important to support people that do that.
I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I was just asking because there is like this idea in the cosplay community, like some people believe that you shouldn't buy or prepackage your costume and it should be completely all on your own. And I don't agree with that either. Like if you have like if you're able to make prosthetic elf ears, how the fuck am I going to do that? Like
exactly. I mean, there's no problem with like I said, there's no problem with sharing kind of what you make with other people. And if you make a business out of it, that's even better for you.
I feel like we're all tribesmen and we should just support each other. And I agree with you exactly what you said. Like, I bought custom-made fangs from a fangsmith and like at actually a Comic-Con. And it's just like, how the hell would I do that on my own? Like, I can't. Exactly. Like, and even so, even if I was making a costume with fangs, I would have to buy the fangs. It's not like I'm at like, a dental student or something. Yeah. I could create it myself. That would be it'd be cool if I knew how to, but I don't know how,
Yeah.
But, in every geek verse and nerd verse, there's always like the elitists that make things not fun anymore. Yeah. You know what I
mean? Right. Yeah. So, yes. Sorry? Yeah. Anyway, to turn things around, one thing I'm curious about is like there seem to be kind of two schools around, how to approach hijabi cosplay, which the one is try to find, characters that conform to niqab. Like one example I can think of is the Assassin's Creed. And also, Tali of Mass Effect, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the second would be, what you're doing is basically, and I think most other hijabi cosplayers are doing, is they're basically revamping, an existing character and basically changing them in ways that make them compatible with the niqab.
I mean, I don't wear a niqab because that's like the full face covering.
Oh, well, jilbab, I think, basically, technically it's called.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of a bit of both, I guess. When I first started out, my original sort of first idea was to do Dust from the X-Men comics.
Yes.
Because she was like a full jilbab and a full niqab and everything. So I was going to do that. But I guess when I kind of got into it more, I realized that, you don't always have to do specific costumes because obviously, even if you don't wear a hijab, there's all sorts of different kind of adaptations. I mean, there's gender bending and there's like, people take kind of costumes and turn them into armored ones, and they take armored ones and turn them into kind of normal everyday wear costumes. And it's really, really like crazy the kind of things that people do. So I guess from there, I kind of started just picking characters that I liked and, like you said, just revamping them and kind of adapting them to suit my style. And honestly, I think that's more fun, personally, than trying to find costumes that specifically cover the face and the hair and everything.
Totally. I don't think the hijab or niqab should stop someone from cosplaying. Exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned Dust. I saw a guy actually cosplay as Dust, but wore a bikini and then a hijab.
What I'd like to see eventually is a niqab with the Cylon eyes.
Oh my God! Are you a Battlestar Galactica fan, Daria?
I'm not, but I'm aware of it.
Okay, well, we're big BSG fans here, like to the point that we would end up speaking the entire podcast about it.
Pretty much.
Hey, it's fair enough.
So the guy that I saw dressed up as Dust, he was wearing a bikini, right? And he actually had like dust pieces. Like it was very well done. It was so simple too, which I love. I love simple cosplay. Like my cosplays are like Harley Quinn going to the movies, like a casual like t-shirt, like just chilling, and you're comfortable because, oh my God, do they make you sweat like a pig? And you have to walk around with this stuff, and it's heavy as hell. Like I don't even understand. I appreciate people cosplaying, but I could not wear like a TARDIS dress or something that's pretty much you're wearing like a 100-pound sari on you, walking around just chilling. Like, how are you doing that?
that was my biggest struggle when I did my Nightingale. It is a full head to toe leather costume
my Lord.
That I made myself, and it's made of like, I think layer wise I have like 4 layers. of
did
leather.
You do it in the winter?
And it's all black. I did. Okay, I did. I made it for about November time, but the event that I was at was packed. I kept having to like ask photographers if we could go outside and do the photos. I was so warm, and it has like a mask as well that covers the mouth and the nose. So you can imagine, it was awful.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, like, do you have like so my little tips, right? Which is like what I do when I cosplay or like when I go to cons too, because it gets really hot, is I usually put, this sounds kind of gross, I put little deodorant between my legs, to like, not worry with the chafing. And I just put some like between, like anywhere that you kind of like your skin kind of touches, like the back of your knees, the back of your, like in your elbows, that kind of thing. And it does help a lot. But I mean, what can help like, that much leather and 4 layers of clothing?
Honestly, I am in half a mind to just install little fans everywhere. Just wire them all up to a remote in my hand and then just, walk around with a moving aircon system with me.
But what's insane? I don't know about the cons by you, but the cons here, like they're on the full blast air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
And it still gets so hot.
It does. I mean, that's the thing with cons as well, as they're popular. They're getting really, really popular nowadays. So obviously you're going to have a lot of people there. And not everywhere does air conditioning. Like some of the ones that I go to, they are really big, really popular events, but they're held in like hotels and stuff like that. So obviously they don't have like proper aircon systems. So what they try and do is they just open up all the windows and doors and everything so that it's easy to kind of get in and out. And you see just every few minutes, you'll see groups of people walking outside to just chill for a bit in the cold air. It's crazy.
I was wondering how you, like, of course, the accessories, you have all those weapons on a bandolier and stuff. Like, how does that come together?
I mean, the props, again, like you mentioned before, the props were bought. I bought them from someone because let's just say, don't ever attempt to make hidden blades in your kitchen.
Oh.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work out for anyone. So I did end up buying those in the end, but I am actually working on modding them at the minute. But the body of the thing was handmade. So that was probably, I think that was the first one that I did with proper like props, because I usually try and make them myself. But that one I did buy. But I did sort of try and make little modifications. So I kind of repainted the blades that I got and the gauntlets that came with them as well. And I'm working on just changing them up a little bit to make them automatic so that I don't have to push the button to kind of get the blade to come out.
Oh, wow. You're actually doing the actual blade? Let's get wondering about that, because I know cons as of late, they're kind of they're becoming more restrictive about weapons.
Of course, yeah. I mean, people do walk in with 3-4 foot guns and things like that, so you do have to be careful.
Right.
But I mean, the blades that I have, the blades themselves are made of plastic and they are quite bendy, so it's pretty obvious that they're not kind of a risk. But yeah, I mean, I've seen events where people have tried to walk in with some ridiculous gear, and it's like you can't get away with everything,
Yeah, but I just I've noticed even at the checkpoints, when you're going in, even plastic. Even last year con that I went to, New York Comic Con, they weren't letting anyone go in with weapons, whether it be plastic or not. Once you can hold it and swing it or something, they took it. You have to check it. And they'll bring it back in. I think what they did with some things, they actually checked it. They gave you a ticket number, and they took it in, and I guess they scanned it or whatever, and you got it back later. But a lot of people were complaining because you couldn't. A lot of people who dressed like Harley Quinn and with a giant hammer and stuff like that, they couldn't bring that in. Although it was mostly paper mache, they weren't letting them in. There was a couple just regular, when I say regular, I mean the normal things that you see at a con. You'll see the Batmans and things like that. So even the Batman stars, I saw a person taking them away for just checking them in because it's not allowed. They're really cracking down on this.
I mean, I guess it's to be expected, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around, especially in the news and things about things happening because of, negligence with that. So I guess they are going to try and be careful when there's a lot of people in one place.
Right.
Well, I mean, like I said, I've seen people try to walk into, events with, real bows and arrows and things like that. And it's there are certain things that you shouldn't bring to a kind of a public event.
I mean, you should think, that they're not going to let you actually bring in a real weapon.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I know sometimes, like, it used to be airsoft weapons, but I think they've cracked down on that because, they can still shoot projectiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it depends. I mean, I was at an event a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of friends of mine had, like, Nerf guns that they were kind of shooting around, but it wasn't until kind of all the children cleared out and stuff. They waited till sort of the end of the event, and then they were messing around with it. But yeah, I definitely do agree they should be quite careful with that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, back to the whole, kind of renaissance of nerd colored people. I think there was the recent story about the new Mary Jane actress who's going to be, I guess, mixed race or who codes as black. Yeah. I know there was like a little bit of outrage about it, but it was funny because there wasn't this much outrage about another character adaptation, which I think first season of Preacher just ended, which included kind of a revamped version of Tulip.
I liked her, though.
Yeah, she was really cool. And the whole funny thing is that, I don't know if you saw the Warcraft movie, but the actor that played Jesse and the actress that played Tulip, they're the king and queen in Warcraft.
All right.
So it's like,
I didn't see
until they're into the world of Warcraft. That's how I saw it.
That's awesome.
I just finished Preacher, speaking about it. I thought it was really good. I mean, like, at first you're just like, but that's not Tulip. But then you can't just like, oh, well, that's it. Like, you just take that adaptation and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're going to change a little bit. But I like the backstory that they gave Tulip in this series. And it was really good. I liked it. I think it fit well, especially where they are located. Obviously, they're just, this, I don't know what world you're living in, but no one place just has one type of people living there, So
yeah, of course.
I thought that was really good, and I thought it gave a more modern spin, and it definitely left enough for, even if people didn't read Preacher, to want to watch it and continue doing it. I think if anything, that Tulip in the show has really, like, she's my favorite character. I think that she definitely stole, like, a little, like, sometimes a lot of people like the main character and stuff. Although she is a main character, I think that she's much, I don't think they realize how important she is in this show.
Right. I think they did improve on the character, because I think in the comic I felt like she was kind of the obstacle to Jesse. It's like, no, don't do that. I'm going to do it anyway. Bye, Tulip. And I think here, you have Tulip actually showing some initiative. It's like she's the one that's telling Jesse, hey, we need to get rid of this guy that betrayed us.
She's the one she's constantly the one saying, oh, I want to do this. And he's the one going, no, I don't have time, or kind of brushing her off and stuff like that. And she's definitely the badass, like super, super badass. And I like that about her. She's very, like, tough. And there's one, have you guys watched it, like, entirely?
Yeah, I have.
I actually haven't.
Oh, I don't spoil it for you.
No, go for it. It's cool.
So there's this one, this is early in the episodes. She meets up with these little kids, and she makes this, like, bazooka rocket kind of looking thing, with, like, cans and stuff, and she shows them what to do. And I thought that was just super, super cool. Like, she just fires it, like, in the like, right outside of the kitchen. And it's just like, she's not very motherly, but she's, like, cool with kids, if that makes sense. And she just goes in and she, like, talks to them or whatever, and she gets a couple of supplies, makes the weapon, goes outside and shoots it, and she's like, yeah, this. And then the girl, because she was kind of giving her mouth a little bit, the little girl, and after she sees, like, Tulip do that, she's like, oh, like, you kind of, like, see in her face, like, oh, she's cool, like, it's good. You know what I mean? Like, she's not gonna be making a big deal because they were the only two kids home. And like, the parents are gone or whatever. So I guess, like, that was pretty cool. Like, she was stepping in as, like, the older sibling, like, the responsible one. And when she saw that Tulip was, like, a badass, she was like, oh, this is cool. I could be with this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I think it's really important for female characters to be very, very strong. Not all of them going to be strong, right? Because there's going to be, like, times that, we have emotions, we're humans, but I think it's very important to show that we're just not damsels in distress. And I think that has been changing since the 90s. And it's really, really good. Yeah. And I think that it gives us more room for cosplay. And I like the fact that now in the cosplay universe, a lot of men dress up as the female characters. So it's not gender. Yeah, I love it. It's the Rule 69 is not even in play anymore. It doesn't even matter. Exactly. Like, people don't even say that. They're just like, I'm going to be a Sailor Scout, and that's what you do. And I love it. Exactly. I love that you don't have to give this whole background noise on why you want to be what you are. And I think that's great. I think that not only is it changing for brown kids being in cosplay, but also the whole gender idea is completely fluid. Like if you want to be Sailor Moon, it doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl. That's great. Or brown or orange or whatever the fuck you are. Just be it. Yeah.
I remember back in my day, like, we did see, different, like women playing Inuyasha. Even, I saw, black people playing Inuyasha. But there are some lines we didn't cross, like you said, the Rule 63, is it? And it's like, I remember everyone was like spit taking at, those pictures of that guy dressing as Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. But I think nowadays that would be like perfectly okay.
I think it was always okay. I think that it was just depending on who the fuck cares what people think of you? Because you already look weird to most people anyway when you're cosplaying.
Exactly. I mean, there's already this whole thing about like cosplayers are weird. We might as well embrace it and just have fun with it.
Right. So my question to your cosplay, are you like full in cosplay? Do you talk like that character? Do you like learn the languages if you're gonna... I've dressed up as an elf before, but like I don't fucking know anything, any kind of other language from Lord of the Rings. I've tried, I really did, but it's just not gonna work. And I'm just gonna be like, hey, I just want a cheeseburger. like I'm not gonna ask you a bunch of shit. So do you go full blown?
I mean, I would say yes and no. Normally no, but then I have had like kids charity events and stuff like that where they've asked me to kind of tone it down and kind of be a bit more in character. So that's I usually do Loki and Jack Frost because Loki is obviously just essentially the root of all evil. So it's pretty fun to be that kind of character and get away with it. And obviously Jack Frost because he's like a kiddie kind of fun loving character. But no, I don't usually really do the whole kind of I guess because it's kind of like role playing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you get into character, but I don't really do that very often. No. I mean, I'm just like you. I will show up to McDonald's full Captain America shield, and I'll just be like, "Yo, I want chips and a milkshake."
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Because after putting on all that stuff, you get hungry. You really.
Oh, you do, yeah.
Because it'll be like an hour later, and you're like, "How did I even get here?"
Yeah. Especially when you have to wake up really early to get to like an event if it's slightly far away, and it's like you have to skip breakfast. You get like halfway through the day and you're just like, I'm gonna collapse. I need food right now.
And you gotta be careful because like I mean, as women we have the smallest bladders in the fucking right. So you have to be very careful what you eat because then you have to take your whole costume off, pee, and then put it back all on. Or you have to like make ideas to kind of like counterbalance.
Yeah.
So you can wear regular pants.
Like, how am I gonna pee in this? How am I gonna eat? How am I gonna get in and out of this? Oh my god.
Yeah, it is difficult. Like when you talk to people, they're like, I don't get it. So why do you even do it? I'm like, because it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it could be Halloween every day. You can be a different character every day. That's why I was so excited when I saw your page. I was like, oh my god, another cosplayer! Like this is awesome. And I was like, she'll understand the plight. And then I go, I wonder if she wears diapers because like that was my first question in my mind.
Oh wow.
I'm like,
no, I don't wear diapers.
A lot. I've heard a lot of cosplayers. When they go to cons and stuff like that, they wear diapers because like, especially female cosplayers because they. Because it's just, I've also heard from other female cosplayers, like just talking to them. They're like, yeah, we just wear diapers. Or what they do is they wear like an overnight maxi pad. And so, so when they pee, they just pee. And then they like, when they take their breaks or whatever to like fix their makeup and stuff, when they do the big one, they just take it out. I think it's kind of gross, but to each their own.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I'm with you on that one.
It might make sense if you're like a space person, play the character, play the role.
I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. I drink a lot of water and tea and coffee. It's just not going to be possible. I need opening pants.
Same. Definitely.
And one of the other con complaints is that the food is always expensive.
And it's gross.
Yes.
It's always like hot dogs and fries. Like, what
yeah. There's an event that I go to, and what they've started doing because of how expensive the food is, people actually set up like hot dog stands and stuff outside and they just sell really cheap, like, fast food because they know that more people are going to go outside to try and get food because it's so expensive inside. Yeah. And it's pretty smart, actually. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Oh, I think they do that for every con, because the cons that I go to here, there's always food trucks. Well, it's New York City, so there's food trucks everywhere, right? So like they just park up right in front of the con, or like just in a strip, and it's so convenient. And sometimes, like I noticed that sometimes they actually give you discounts, like you get free things if you're actually in cosplay, which is also like an additive. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And
I don't
also
think they do that here, but.
Really, like in New York, especially during con week, you know, like, well, New York, like the Comic-Con week, not the small cons, like special editions and stuff, like the neighboring bars and stuff, if you're dressed in cosplay, they'll give you a free drink.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just like even more, incentive to go and visit, and they'll have giant signs out where, we're Comic-Con, we're con ready, and like I went into one bar and the entire, like, the bartenders, the greeter, everybody was in cosplay, and it was really awesome. Cool. Yeah, it was super, super cool. Now I've noticed that they've been doing it very similarly with with Pokemon Go. So you know how like they little chalkboards outside, they'll say, oh, by the way, our restaurant is a gym, so you can come in, get your, get some food and also, play. And I was like, that's a pretty good incentive, especially because right now in New York City, it's hot as fuck. So, you want to be in air conditioning while you're playing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and then there's also the incentive of certain, like I've noticed in a couple of pizzerias, if like or certain places, they have like these things like, oh well, if you're team Mystic, you'll get like a free can of this, or if you're team, Valor, you'll get a slice of pizza or whatever, or like if you're on a certain level, they'll give you something. Also, the ASPCA, they were saying if you have a Meowth, they'll give you you can adopt a cat for free.
Huh.
Oh, wow. That's so cute.
Right? So I love how like nerd, like geekdom has just like infiltrated into mass media. Like now people are just like tailoring to us. Like, by the way, hey nerds, we know you need to eat. So here's some free pizza. Like actually, that's awesome.
I actually encountered that in DC too. Is that there was an Obanpan. And they like there's a sign over one where I go to which has like, hey, free drinks for Pokemon Go catchers or whatever.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty rad. I think that's really cool, and I love how like you can get a free kitten. You can adopt a kitten.
Yeah,
that's so like, freaking cute.
Because adoption fees are like you can run up to like $200, $400 depending on the shelter. So it's like getting for free for that effort. It's like that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I think it's really good when they use things that, people like, what we all already like, like all these games and whatever it may be in like this whole like cosplay, you know what I mean? Like this whole category of whatever you want to call it, like geek stuff, nerd stuff, whatever the fuck, And I think it's really cool that people like tailor it to us now instead of like scoffing at it and going, oh, look at these weirdos, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people kind of embrace it now, don't they? They kind of look at cosplays and just like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, or they ask you about your costume, or like, and I wanted to bring this up to you too, because when I saw your cosplay as Captain America, are you aware that there's a guy in New York who's Sikh? He wears a full turban and stuff and dresses.
I've seen that. It's so freaking cool.
He's like the sweetest ever. I've bumped into him numerous times. He's so nice. Yeah, he's super rad. Super, super sweet. And I think, and the cool thing is he's been interviewed numerous times, and he's like, a lot of people have given him shit, like about, not a lot, but he's heard some hate, like just negative comments, like any kid, about like, Captain America is not brown, whatever, but he's like, he is an American, so he has every right to, and to dress up that way. And I think he's even made visits to schools and things like that, and talk to, younger children. He's always in Union Square, so there's where all the kids are all the time, hanging out and stuff. And I think it's just really, really important that, our society sees that there's other brown cosplayers. I think that not only is it fun for us, but it's also a teaching experience for other people. And as much as we don't realize it, Dania, although you don't even realize it, you're a role model already, for a lot of like other brown kids out there that might want to cosplay. Have you ever had anyone approach you about it?
I have actually, yeah. I can't wrap my head around it. Like, for me personally, I never set out to do that or anything. Like, I know people that have, but I genuinely didn't. I just wanted to do something that I thought was fun. So it does kind of, like, surprise me when people kind of come up to me and they're like, oh, you inspired me or whatever. But it's so sweet. It's like the biggest compliment you could ever get, and I love it.
That's wonderful. This is also great because like you're doing what you like and like effortlessly, and you're also helping other people.
Oh yeah, I hope so. That is the goal, I guess, is just to help people as much as I can and make people smile, you know?
For sure. I think that when we start off doing something, you don't like, you know, for us, for our own selves, right? For our own soul.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even realize it, that it changes the reason why you do it. You realize it impacts other people and you're like, wow, like even if it's one person, it's just like, oh, like that's really rad. Like I didn't realize it. Like I didn't realize it on that end, you know, that spectrum. But it's really, really cool that you can definitely show people visibly that, you know, they can be as creative and do cosplay and be, you know, and still love who they are and be who they are and still do it. You know what I mean? You could live in both worlds. You can live in your, you know, all cultures that you come from and the culture that you're born into. You just meld it all together. You know, who says that you can't be a hijabi woman that cosplays? You are living proof.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was wondering if you associate with other, you know, hijabi cosplayers. Like I've seen it as of late. A lot of other countries have that kind of genre of cosplay.
I forgot her name, but she's a hijabi woman, I believe, from Singapore or Indonesia, and she just wears so what she does, she makes makeup into her costumes, and she wears her hijab.
Oh my god, yeah.
Her makeup skills are amazing.
Oh, is it the Malaysian one? I've seen that one.
Is she Malaysian? I'm so sorry. I thought she was either Singaporean or Indonesian, but maybe Malaysian.
Yeah, she is Malaysian, I believe. Oh yeah, I love her so much. Like I can't do makeup personally, but she is just incredible. I absolutely love her.
She's beyond phenomenal. Like she's even gotten hijabs to match the right colors.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does she do this? It's like magic.
It's freaking awesome. I absolutely love her.
Yeah. So have you ever like tried to like reach out and do like a collaborative thing with them online even?
I did reach out to her actually, but I didn't try to do a collab just because, like I said, I can't make up. I can't make up for rap, so I wouldn't be able to kind of, I guess, I don't know. I don't think that I would be able to kind of do what she does, but I did reach out to her. I sent her a message a while ago, just kind of saying like how amazing I thought she was, and she was really sweet. She replied to me, and she was like, you know, thank you, and I saw your page and everything, and it was just really cute.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, she's a sweet girl.
Did you ever think that your cosplay would lead you to this point?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Honestly, I didn't even think anyone would like appreciate my costumes. Like I thought I would get a lot of crap for it when I first started. And now seeing how far it's come, it's pretty amazing.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. This like whole it just breezed by, I guess, because when nerds just geek out on costumes and stuff. We just wanted to make sure our audience gets all your you know, your sites and things and where they can find your work. Yeah. If you could just give us all your links, that would be great.
My main link is just my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Hijabi Hooligan. That's where I put all of my kind of my day-to-day, you know, shenanigans and then all my photos and things like that. Cool. And also,
before we leave,
sorry, just
as if your name is Hooligan, do you rep for a firm?
I don't know.
Oh, it's like so no football teams or anything?
Not really. I'm not a big football person. I'm more of a basketball kid, but
all right,
that's just me.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much. This was super fun. Thanks. For more ALTbrown, you can find us on Facebook. On Twitter, we're at ALTbrownCast. ALTbrown is on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podbean. You can find us through our RSS feed. You can also find our archive at altbrown.podbean.com. If you'd like to support our podcast, you can find us our campaign at patreon.com/ALTbrownCast. If you're interested in doing a podcast, definitely send us emails through our Facebook page. Just search us up ALTbrown, ALTbrown.